Yeah.
So Kevin Maher,
Yeah.
live and direct from, I'm assuming, your backyard?
Yes.
Yes,
My
awesome.
backyard.
Well, so you're enjoying this lovely weather that we're having here right now, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful in the morning, then it gets a little too hot, and then it's nice again.
Exactly. Well, so I wanted to chat with you because I've been seeing, and I'm assuming they're backyard videos because it looks kind of like what I'm seeing right now.
Oh yeah, that's my backyard.
Exactly. Well, you have so much that you've already done as far as you're working with different artists from Britney to Justin Bieber to, all of the different, music videos and concerts and things like that. So you have every single facet done. Now, on the online side of things, how do you feel like you fit into this game, staying connected with maybe your followers or your fans or your students? Like, where do you fit in? Like, how are you enjoying it? Are you just doing it because you got to do it? Like, what do you think?
Well, at first it kind of terrified me to have to speak to an audience that can't respond back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so yeah, I kind of stayed away from doing classes. And I tried a Zoom class once for like a dance studio, and they were doing a class. And it still is so hard to get the best energy because everyone has their own variables. Like maybe they're dancing through their phone audio, or maybe they're dancing and they have me on their TV screen, so I'm too big. So there's so many different variables that I didn't enjoy. But I found a fun way to keep in touch with everyone by doing charity classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did 5 weeks, I think, of doing an IG Live free class, and trying to keep it all ages, and then trying to tell people to donate to a cause. And then that led to some people stepping up and saying, well, I'll donate $1 or $2 per video that gets posted to that charity. So I found a fun way of kind of keeping in touch and keeping connected with people and old faces, not old faces, but faces that I haven't seen in a while,
Right.
by doing that. And it definitely, it's not making me any money, but it feels less stressful and really nice to give back to the bigger picture. And also, I wanted to try something different than just moving my business directly to online. I first wanted to create like a statement of what type of energy I stand for, and then I can start doing more classes, because people are have me connected to a nicer, bigger picture than just trying to hustle a job.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I haven't seen you in a long time, so this is kind of like me reconnecting with a lot of different people through this platform, and just kind of realizing how different everyone's take is on what we've all kind of been forced into through the pandemic and social, justice causes and things like that. So one of the other things that I noticed in what you were saying in kind of creating a different way of, it sounds like just giving yourself, not giving all of yourself, but letting people know more about what you stand for, is a video that I saw that you posted about conventions really taking on the challenge, and not really a challenge, but taking on the ownership of knowing that they are not doing as much as they could to be inclusive when they're hiring. And so, that video, I was like, wow, I had no idea, that this was even a thing. And so you bringing it to the forefront is really important.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a little scary. I didn't want anyone to get the wrong impression, because all these great conventions have great faculties, so I don't think they see that there's anything wrong. And it's not about being wrong, it's just about being more open-minded without having to be told. And as we are adults and things start working for us, we don't think we need to get corrected or listen or do anything new, because it's already working for us. So I just wanted to bring some light on like the diversity that's lacking in the dance convention world, and it had a really good response, and a lot of cool conversations started, and I think that opened like a conversation for a lot of people to have, and it was really effective.
Well, I think when you are posting a message like that, I don't know that before, the invention of the internet or social media, that you could do that. Like, it's almost like that Tom Cruise movie where he writes the memo and is like, yes, I wrote the memo and I sent it out, like, and then he's like, packs his bags, So I'm sure as you were filming it, you were like, oh gosh, is this going to have that kind of effect?
Yeah, for sure. And you also want to, like, I wanted to keep my point direct, and also not, dive into the negatives of anything, just saying there's a lot of great people that are deserving, and if we could just be a little bit more mindful of what our representation is, and how we're best portraying the dance industry.
Right. Well, so that totally plays into, what I am just trying to seek out from different individuals, you included, as far as the information that people need to know moving forward of how to connect with their, some people say their tribe, their fans, their followers, their students, their, all of that. What do you think has been the most effective? Is it just speaking to your the people who are following you on the social media applications, or is it posting videos and having your dance moves kind of represent that, or is it just what do you think is the most effective to stay connected?
Well, I found that after people do choreography and post it, it's been really nice for me to DM them directly and say, hey, I really love your video. Can you please send it to me? I'd like to repost. So me reaching out to people directly of all ages and backgrounds and all over the world makes me in charge of starting the relationship. And then the response from their end is always positive. And it feels like I'm personally connecting with people. And then when I repost, other people are seeing that and saying, oh, wow, he reposted such and such video, or look at this little 6-year-old do the same moves as a 26-year-old, or look at the mom and daughter dance together. Yeah. And so I think it's been a really good, like, healthy thing to post people's videos after they put the effort in to do your choreography. Sorry, there's a helicopter.
Oh, we're live. That's just the elements, right? Well, so when you are, well, we all are in this kind of together, as far as, being, whether it's in quarantine or, trying to have curfew or whatnot. What do you think is your inspiration to create? Like, where do you get that now? Because everyone I feel like when I talk to people, they're saying, well, I have to self-motivate. Like, I don't know if you feel that way, or if you are getting your inspiration from, things you're seeing out there, or if it's just like, hey, I'm just going to do what I have been putting off for a long time because now I have time.
Well, there's like two sides. I think creatively, I'll find the biggest source is everyone just wants to have fun right now and forget where they're at or what their restrictions are. So just doing like a all ages, open, fun perspective has been no pressure for me to create. I'm not creating for an artist. I'm not creating with restrictions. It's just for everyone to have fun. And then if there's ever a song that's calling me that maybe I'm more intricate with in choreography, or maybe the song is more mature in its tone, then I'll save that for another platform. But for the most part, finding inspiration, if you take off all the pressure and just have fun and celebrate whatever feels good to you, pretty much is going to feel good to other people.
Yeah. Well, so what is like, when you say you're saving it for other platforms, are you using Zoom? Are you using IG Live or Facebook Live? Like, what is your go-to thing?
Well, IG Live is pretty easy for me. Zoom has a fun interactive feel, but it's there's always different issues with connectivity or getting dropped off or sound. But I also am a part of Monsters 365, which is like online platform that they have, and IAF Prime, which is another online platform. So there's like different platforms that offer like for a more serious dance crowd or an advanced dance crowd or more mature. Um, so there's different tones where you can take your work. So I wouldn't create something very intricate and to a very weird song and then try and teach it on IG Live, because IG Live is just you got to expect a couple glitches. There's going to be somebody in the comments who's not reading the room, and you know, you just want to have fun in those situations.
Yeah.
So other platforms, meaning like where a more serious or advanced tone would be appreciated.
Right, right. Well,
Yes.
so what is next for you? Are you thinking about, like, if you could work with your dream, I mean, you've already worked with a lot of dream artists, but if you could work with that one artist, who would that be?
Um, let's see. I would really like to work with, there's different reasons, different people. Like musically,
Mhm.
I would love to do anything for Bjork. Production wise, I'd love to work with like a Katy Perry or somebody who has really high volume production.
Mhm.
But something I dream about that's not artist related is like the Olympics. I would love to work on a project like that.
Yeah, well, they're coming, so
I
you
know, and
definitely have the chance.
I'm trying to put it out there now.
Yeah, I don't know who's in charge of that. I'm sure it's, Jerry
Yeah,
Mitchell or somebody,
yeah,
someone like that. But I'm sure that, putting it out there, manifestation, that whole
uh-huh,
thing.
yeah.
What is your observation of just what you've seen in the shift for maybe even conventions to the online space? Have you felt like because I know you teach on convention, but you also
Mhm.
teach in person, and they're both the same, but you teach in studio, I should say. And what do you see as far as the shift virtually for a convention space, and how that has maybe challenged or changed the way you teach for that particular audience?
I found that maybe from the dancer's perspective, either they have to be really really inspired by it, or Zoom can be a big distraction for them learning. Like the
Mm-hmm.
older dancer, younger dancers have adapted really quick to Zoom or to IG Live, and they just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and with that, like the one thing that I've noticed that's been helpful is now people are able to reverse choreography a lot faster because you don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening with what program, so you just go for it. And then, you know, I've had friends text me and say, I learned the wrong side. I'm like, it's healthy, you know, use that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be able to turn on both sides.
yeah. But you know, as from the convention teacher side, it's a little tricky because there's so many platforms that are available online,
Mm-hmm.
and none of them have the feel of what it's like in person. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, you want to make sure that you're like like even as a teacher, like the rate that I would ask for an online class isn't the same as in person, or the number of students that would sign up for a workshop in person is not the same online. So it is a big difference in energy, and it is just like you know, trickier to just transition your online, I mean your business in person directly to online. You have to funnel it a little bit smarter before it opens up again. I think Monsters of Hip Hop is doing a good platform with their like Netflix, but for monsters. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all things hip hop on its own channel for 24 hours a day. So that's a smart move there. So that way you can keep training going, but on your own time. Sometimes an online convention has a specific time slot,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to attend that time slot. And
Mm-hmm.
that could be tricky with all that is going on.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
so if you could have one wish of the the specific platform and everything was like 100%, like what would you do to, like, obviously Zoom has some technical stuff. What would you be like, this is what I want a platform to have so that when I teach online, I don't have to worry about that?
Like I can just make it up if like my
Yeah.
dream. Okay.
If you can
So
just dream. I'm
maybe,
putting this out there because I want somebody to watch this who's part of like that San Francisco tech community and just
uh-huh.
make it for us, right?
I would love to like, you know, sometimes there's like Zoom party kits and everyone gets mailed the same party kit, so you have the same environment. I would love to have a platform where people are sent the environment that's preferred, whether it's like a lighting hookup or something, so everyone feels like we're still in the same environment together. Because it's hard to dance when your dogs are at your feet and there's a helicopter and you
Right.
have to move the couch or whatever the case is. So it would be nice to have a platform where there's no sound issues, and maybe like you get sent a hat and some lights and a little flooring to put down,
Yeah.
and it can feel like you're a part of it. But yeah, there's no perfect platform right now, so everyone's just adapting.
So I'm just gonna put it out there. So you could create that.
Yeah, yeah.
That will be your next project.
I'm happy to creative direct it, but I don't want to do the
Okay.
other part.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. How would you like people to find where you're teaching right now? Is it specifically on the Maher 56?
Yeah, I'll always keep Instagram as the forefront of information because I think that's where everybody's at right now.
Mhm.
I do have my website, kevinmaher.space, but that's more for like businesses to check what I've done. But for up to date things, the Instagram stories, if I'm teaching anywhere, anyone could join in, or if I'm doing any projects, I'll post it right there.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Have a really great rest of your day. It was so
Oh,
good
thank you
to
so
meet
much.
you.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.